Tuesday, 3 o'clock sharp, and this is the Father's Chair. Welcome to another episode where fathers lead, where they speak, they shape their own narrative. This is a space where we say, thank you for you, the protectors, the providers, the intentional involved fathers, who are there for their children. This is Fumani and Shilubana. I am the father of 3 children, and I am sure of it. Welcome to this new episode where we'll be discussing blended families. Now, that's a very interesting topic because we are now in a space globally where literally everyone is in a space where one comes with their children, come with their child, we come in, we have to make our children, is it called stepfathers or whatever that you are called, stepmothers, which I don't like using those words, but we are living in a space where people are broken up in relationships, but still want to be in other relationships. So we can't deny people to be in relationships because they now have a child. We can't say no to have a relationship because you have a child from a previous relationship. But the question becomes, how do you now jump into the next step? How do you now go into that relationship and manage to blend this particular relationship that you come up with? One discussion that we had with Leroy the other day on the phone, which I'm hoping we'll touch here, because what do you do? You're in a blended relationship. You come in with a 15-year-old, I come in with a 16-year-old, and one day they decide to fall in love. What do you do? Like, do you remember these guys? That's not incest.
Yeah.
That's not incest. They're not even related, these people. But anyway, Mr. Leroy, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, since you decided to offend feminists.
So here's what he means by that. So I have a foundation. Started a foundation then. Father figures at A. So he will give you the code properly because he's very good in quoting things better than I do.
Yeah.
So we put up a code on social media. Hey, and feminists were not happy with us.
Yeah.
To say, no, you can't say that, but that is a reality. And
No, it's a reality.
Yeah. So please, what was that code, my brother?
You can't deny access and demand responsibility.
You can't.
It makes life a little bit difficult.
It makes it impossible.
Yeah. Because I think one thing that people don't understand is that fatherhood is not instinctive. A father needs to be there in order for him to do fathering well. You learn as you father. You become a good father by fathering. So motherhood is a bit instinctive because by the time she found out that she was pregnant, her motherly instincts kicked in. And before that, she's been playing with dolls and taking care of something outside of herself while playing mother as a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old.
I see it with my daughters.
Yeah. So they'll carry a doll around. They'll make sure that they feed that. When
they put diapers on
a
them.
2-year-old boy is not concerned about playing with dolls and caring about the doll. They are literally tearing the car apart or tearing themselves apart. So it's a question of power versus nature.
So yeah, you can't deny
access, and because fathering needs. We are not soft by nature. So being around a child conscientizes you and lets you be in touch with that softness in you.
I can give you a quick example. When my son was born, I remember he was born the 6th of March.
Yeah.
I held him the first day when he came out of surgery and everything. I held the boy, and I can guarantee you,
everything in you changed that moment.
It actually, for me, it took 24 hours.
Yes.
I felt nothing the first time I held it. The following day, it was as if someone poured something inside me, something new.
Yeah.
That was not the A of it. I ran from my flat to the hospital.
That's why stats will show you that men who were there when the kid was born, and men who were not there when the child was born. So there's a difference between psychological and emotional behavior between the men that saw a child 3 months after they got born, 2 weeks after they got born, and a man who saw the child immediately after the umbilical cord.
Touch on that.
So there's a level of bonding that happens from an emotion, because immediately when you hold that child, whether it takes 24 hours for you or it literally kicks in that particular moment. You become emotionally aware that from this moment onwards, I am responsible for something outside of myself. So you being a father, most of the time as a man, only kicks in that ward. Ne? So while they want you to touch the belly, you are not feeling it. It has not kicked in yet.
Get excited.
Yeah, so that's why we don't get too excited like the way women do. But immediately when you see the manifestation of the belly bump into a human form feature, your emotional awareness is literally so it is at that point it's up to you whether or not you are going to allow yourself to literally expand that feel.
No, Marek, I think Luana, we need to, the minute you say "Ngwana wa tla," my feel, and that's what we spoke about the other day, one needs to die to oneself. Because
but now we're talking about so we're talking about how the makeup of a man. It's more practical. So for example, let's say your wife God forbid, calls you. Ne? I want to show you the different makeups. Let's say she calls you and something just happened. She lost a very dear person to them. So she gets a call that so and so passed on. So without being counted in like they would do 5, 4, being given a cue to say action, she literally gets in touch with her emotional self immediately, and then she calls you and doesn't get hold of you, and then calls the friend, and then the friend is a female. Immediately, Harry, Chum, you can't believe what just happened. I just found out Hori Goku Tlokofits. Immediately, the friend meets her at the height of emotion that she's feeling. Then she calls you, or she calls me. She calls you, the man. And then immediately,
I see where you're
you see where I'm going. And then when you answer the phone, babe, sorry man, missed your call. What's up? Mama Rishil, Gugu Rishil. Your first response is, Ish, are you okay? Right? So let's pause. They then will compare your response to the friend's response. And then most of the time, women will say, you don't care.
You don't care.
But they forget, worry. In your logical self, you are already planning the funeral.
I was about to say that because now, in such cases, when someone calls and says, immediately I'm like,
you are already counting the cost of how much this is gonna cost.
What do we do?
Yes. Yeah, you are not. You don't, because your makeup does not allow you to be emotional, because crying is not gonna bury the person.
It's not
Crying is not gonna make sure that the weight that she's feeling in that moment is taken off her shoulders. So the reason why I'm bringing, so you bring the fatherly element and the motherly element. That's why when we respond to parenting, we respond to parenting differently, because this is our makeup. So to force a man to behave like a woman where parenting is concerned, you are literally castrating the womanhood that is already castrated by society.
Dude, let's go back. Leroy Tau. Which one?
Social move, born and bred, Jugule.
How was you growing up there? Family, mother, father, how was the family like?
I grew up in a Christian home. My dad passed away 6 years ago.
Yes,
my dad was present in terms of proximity and availability. So proximity says
I was coming there.
I know where my father is in the house. That's proximity. Availability means he pays for the fees. He's there. He works. He's a man. His emotions are seen now and then, but they are not easily expressed. It's either you're gonna, so we'll get to that. I will break down the dynamics of the relationship I had with my father. Grew up in a Christian home, which I think to this day I'm very grateful for, because it really doesn't matter how much of a crazy wayward individual I grew to be. It was those Christian foundation and fundamentals that literally helped bring me back. So if you feel like I've always been on a spiritual leash, I could go far, not further than far. So something.
So
some-
Far, not further than far.
No, to go far, not further than far. Because when I about you go and then you lose yourself, you forget. So that thing pulls you back. So when you're going far, it literally pulls you back.
I can relate to that because
Yeah.
one thing I always say, especially in a Christian space, sometimes Christians rebels up just because you go to church and you don't apply the Christ principles.
Yes.
Doesn't make you a better Christian. Just
No.
because
It doesn't.
The person look at it,
Yes.
who apply the principles of God, they succeed in what
Yeah.
they do just because
The-
it's a principle
My
issue.
mentor said something very yesterday. We were having lunch and then Bishop Makwako, he said to me, if you you can violate protocol and you can be forgiven. But if you violate
Principles.
the principle is gonna judge you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And it's something that we are not getting an understanding of. The reason why we have blended families now is because there was a violation of principle. Because we are used to violating protocol and being forgiven. Then we violate principle. And then now we are being judged by the principle.
We'll come to blended families. I'm still on the working Molly Roy. Anyway,
Yeah.
Where is school? How is school? How is
So my dad wrote stories from Zoring FM. So
Oh.
by God's grace, we were allowed to go to schools that did not have a surname. So I went to Agdiore.
What? Which school don't have a say name?
Bo Elizabeth Matsemela.
John Makakula
John
secondary.
Secondary school of the lady. Khotso ya Modimo. A comprehensive school for the lady. So I was blessed by grace to go to schools that did not have a name.
And how was that experience anyway? How was that experience?
Oh my God.
Going to those schools and come back caucus.
Caucus, it was, so you were considered, I was the guy, you get attention. So, remember, town was not as accessible as it is.
Yeah.
So growing up in Soshanguve, unamela taxi, we are tropong, it was, or utla get transport. Because like 90% of the school, of the kids went to school in the proximity of where they stayed.
Of course.
So at that time, you realize that you are blessed. But as a child, you don't
You-
see it. So here's the shift of dynamics is that your father works hard so that you can be exposed to things that you did not get a chance to be exposed to. But then now, the downside there, you get introduced to Bo Jonathan. So remember, we are afforded the luxury of going and having the right to attend. But the capacity to
Eesh,
handle doesn't reach
Yes.
the demands of that particular school.
Hey.
So my father's financial capacity allowed us to get in the room, but probably did not have enough capacity to allow us to have a fresh kit here cricket. So I
was
played.
about to say that,
Yeah.
yes.
So at number two, Jonathan's parents
dog.
are the ones who create employment. They are not They are not employed by Jonathan's.
So
father.
they come to
They come
attend.
to his 20 years. So now because of the exposure, then you start seeing how other fathers or how other parents are showing up. And then now you start having resentment for the man who's working hard to create the platform. Because you're still a child. Now, you start thinking, well, this man doesn't care about me. Why didn't he come to my cricket game? Why was he not there? Nagogishian. So you start harboring resentment. Now,
False resentment.
false resentment.
Yeah.
Two things are going to happen. You are either going to outperform in order to get his recognition, or you're going to self-destruct. So in my case, I outperformed my last performance, so that in hopes that he will come, give him money. So Jonathan is a 12th man. Go cricket team. He's not even an important figure.
But the parents are there.
But the parents, not even just the parents, the grandmother, even the cat or the dog is there. And you're thinking to yourself, if Jonathan is not even in the starting lineup, chief, I'm the second batsman. Like a fast bowler, like the second batsman.
Who does cricket?
I play cricket, even to this day.
You know, and Tuesday.
No, but now I play golf. It's fine.
And you know, when you say that, I want to show you an example. I had a debate with someone about such a thing, where they say, no, but black parents don't, excuse me, they don't attend schools for. I'm like, guys, are you crazy? Where are they, those people, during school hours? Because if you check all these events, the time that they're happening, they're at work.
Yes.
The guys who are there, and I sit with me, the reason why, personally, like my son's events, my kids' events, this one which just started school this year, I'm there. It's simply because, like you say, I don't work for anyone.
Yes.
So I think for us it's a bit unfair.
Yeah, to crucify without understanding the background context that informs the ability to have that proximity of having that kind of education. So growing up, then so my mother then, so women have this thing, they wanna
Compensate?
No. They wanna be the heroines in the eyes of the children, right? So instead of my mother explaining the situation, then he villainizes the man who's making the opportunity possible. Alright? So growing up, then you learn, you have two choices. You are either offended or inspired. So you are either inspired by the fact that your father is going out of his way to make sure, and I'm talking about, this is the 1997, 98. I'm in a white, it's a predominantly, it's a white
Probably
school.
less than 10 people.
Yeah, when we started during Boom, we had 6 black kids. It was me, my brother, my cousin, and then the other 3 black kids. And then that's when the number.
Yeah.
But now you miss the blessing with this false. You said it best. False.
Can you false thing?
You
It came at that moment.
this borrowed intelligence is a problem.
But I get what you're saying.
You understand. So now so I learned, man, growing up, that a father has a responsibility to father their sons, but the son also has a responsibility to be a son.
But isn't it the of course, and remember, this is not me trying to bash our fathers, because they're from a space where communication was not a thing for them.
No.
So shouldn't we learn, when we're doing that, we must also bring the communication part, at least talk with these guys.
Yeah, but again, I was still saying, then the offense, false offense.
False offense.
The offense, then you are gather, and then you start thinking, this man does not care. But then you start. That's why even today, I overperform. So that
because you want to compensate for that.
Yeah. So this thing, and in inadequacy in terms of being appreciated and being feeling like you're not appreciated and you're not recognized. So this levels of inadequacies. No, this is the father's chair, obviously. Our kids are going to approach the chair where the father is. Hello, how are you? I'm good. You just wanted to say hi? Yeah. Oh, that's cute. Have all the bananas you want. Daddy works hard.
Take off my
Bye. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
So those are things that I think, as Budaki, there's a lot of trauma that we're not even aware or not traumatic.
Yeah, but then you. So my mentor wrote a book, The Sins of Ingratitude. The
sins of
ingratitude. That instead of being grateful of the fact that you are counted amongst the few people in your hood that attend a multiracial school, when multiracial had a meaning to it, it was literally a multiracial school. Then we start, and I'm getting here because even today you have kids by Longori. You miss the blessing of the sacrifice.
Because you're emotional.
Because now you wanna cry or Papa didn't come to watch me dance on stage. And while you are dancing, Papa is making sure that there's enough funds so that you can go back to the school next month.
Yeah, Papa. I'll give you an example about issue of privilege. Because that is privilege.
Yes.
And we tend not to be aware of it. One day, now, when I'm saying now, I'm talking about less than 10 years ago. 5 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
I'm with a friend with wife, and we're discussing about schools and stuff like that. So I say to them, and nonchalantly, like I'm not thinking anything of it. Yeah. I say to them, why is it now I nearly went to Uplands, Nhlanhla? I nearly went to Uplands in 1992.
92.
Yes. 1992.
Upland was in Pulukwane.
It's in White River. It's
White River,
Yes,
Uplands.
that
Oh,
Uplands.
they're that very
Top school,
I remember it very well.
right?
Just before
Eh?
Nelspruit.
Just before the spray. So 1992, I was admitted in Uplands. So me, I'm nonchalant about it, Rafid. You know what my friend says? He says, Fumani, 1992, you never went to Uplands. How did your parents pull that?
Yep.
That's when I'm like, wait. Actually,
Yeah.
remember 1992 is 2 years after.
After democracy.
We're not even in democracy yet.
92, 94, yeah.
We're not even in democracy yet. It's still that during that period of.
Oh, yeah, before 1990.
Hey, Arfman, how did your parents pull that? How did they know someone to make them let you be in such a school? I'm like, damn it. Mara, half the time we miss such things because we are in our emotions.
Yeah. And depending on who your father married, the right concept is not expressed in that moment, because it is in that moment then you you then realize that but Mchana, okay, I think send your number to call you.
No, but I'm going to drive out.
Yeah, you are sending your number.
Okay.
Then that means you must edit out this part now. That's a problem.
No, we're not editing.
Okay. Yeah, so that means you send him your number, tell him that you are the one coming, then he'll call you. Tell him to buzz you somewhere. So it is then that you realize who you marry matters, or who you choose to make kids with matters. Because if you chose if you are married or you are in a relationship with a person that always is in competition with you and always wants to be seen as a victim, they will use those non-available moments, even though they know you're not available by choice. Not that you don't want to be there. You are working so that the child can keep being there. So now, remember, the mother looks like a hero because she's the one that takes the kids to the recitals. She's the one that takes the kids to the cricket matches. So now when the kids are literally now looking at the issue of who is the person who
And which is practical, by the way.
This is what's happening. Mama is the one that cares about my performance. Mama is the one that cares about my future. Papa hanata. But the mother would say, you know that your father wants to be here, and he could be here if he can. But is the William Meruku, and he's making sure that we are awarded this.
And your brother and Uyang.
My brother was a talented soccer player, and my brother me and my brother different in that regard. So he's been in prison, in and out of juvenile, and then was serving a 23-year sentence. He's getting out, violated 2 paroles. He's getting out next year. But now this is where if kids grow up in the same house, and I wanna debunk this theory. When fathers are not around, kids behave. It's not always. There's an element of accountability and choice that every child has. Because if you have 3 kids and they grew up in the same house, and then 2 do something with their lives, and the other one, and then you can't say they were loved less when equal opportunity was given to all.
Was presented.
You understand? So there has to be a willing spirit. But one thing I liked, going back to how I grew up, I've always been interested in reading. Even though I did not understand what I was reading at the time. So the Bible became the first book that I read. Okay. So I was fascinated. Even today, my favorite book in the Bible is Genesis. So that's why anything that happens, I want to know how things started. To know how we got here, you must go back to.
I know. I'm a very big believer of that. Before we jump into the next step,
we start Ritwakai. Even now, you realize feminism is not something that just came up. It was cooked, and it was cooked and organized so well that you have a problem.
It was cooked and it was born from something.
Yeah, it was born from something.
One.
Yeah, and the idea was to dismantle the family unit, number one.
Charlie.
Actually, number one, the idea was to literally spit in the order that God intended things to be.
No.
These are the results of working from home, ladies and gentlemen. The beauty of it. You see why God wanted us to have a heart of a child. That children don't care about how busy you are. Children care about who you are to them. And then they know that it doesn't matter that you're sitting with the president. They will come and interrupt. Yeah.
When I say
No, why?
no, you put it on. Okay, Fumani, bye bye. Fumani, matangani.
Yeah, it is that you
Fumana,
realize you're normal.
Fumani.
No, this is cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think they must see what guys must see what they are missing out on.
no, so this morning,
Yeah.
whilst we've been sitting up here, she says, when the father's here,
Yeah.
when the father's
Oh, yeah.
so they know.
Yeah.
So they know what's
They know,
happening.
and it registers. in their
It
mind.
kind of registers, they know what's happening. So, but anyway, so in a nutshell, my brother, Kuhuri, what happens in a space family and how one brings up and that competition that we're talking about,
Yeah.
is it necessary though? What do you think creates that? I don't understand.
I like Margaret Ketmo, you know Marums. The
Maru
author
is,
of
I
Maru.
know Maru is. I did it.
There's a quote that I've lived by, Itangara, heredity nothing, environment everything. So environment is everything. So now that we're living in a social media environment, you can choose what inspires you. So me, like I was saying, so reading T.D. Jakes at the time was your Creflo Dollars. My pastor had a huge collection. So every time I go in, I would literally take some CDs or cassette.
And listen to someone.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I would get in the habit of just listening. And at that time, sometimes you don't even understand. But this thing, I realized that reading is
You're uploading.
You're uploading. So reading is collecting grammar. So that when you need it, your brain literally gives you what you need at that particular
For
point in
sure.
time. So now I read, but I don't read as much as I used to read. But I love the fact that when the period Yawala was given, I did that. So that helped me. So I grew up because my parameters of thinking.
Which side of
literally
juggling is
Block X.
So how can I go social?
Yeah.
Right? Hebrew na kergi.
I know, so Hebron is far, it's a bit out from Shangu. So I rate here from transfer.
It transfer, yes.
Because your first block location, nearly the L. With the L. So the L, they are famous,
Yes.
as Soshanguv. So now, Juguline, ability, an extension of Soshanguv, it was little, it came after with the L, the BB, the MDK, AA were already established. So the country.
I'm always interested, God, why because LLDB?
The population is, I think Soshanguve has just hit a 1.1 million
The hell?
population. Yeah,
The hell?
it's big, it's huge.
You lie.
Yeah, it's huge. Soshanguve is I think after Soweto.
Of course, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
after
yeah.
Soweto, it's somewhere there. Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole
yeah,
country
but I
there.
mean, some of the things are just exaggerations, and you look at, I can tell you that where a person really grows, there's a choice, guys, that we like running away from the choice element and the accountability element, because my friend Kabelo Chabalala likes to say there's an expiry date of you of you having to blame your father not being there. There's an expiry date.
For me, for me, guy,
Yeah.
it's two ways. The idea that Kibata Musari waka, or I'm not there for my kids because my dad was not there. Kibata Musari because my father how do you feel when your father was murdering your mother?
Yes. And for you to literally
Come and repeat the same thing.
the same thing. Yeah.
Like for me, I honestly, yes, I know it can damage mentally. It can do certain things, trauma, whatever. I know, I respect that. Mara, put okay. You know, now you go make another child, knowing what you
Yeah.
Ah, wow, I don't know, man.
So I think that we don't like being honest about the impact of the events we experienced.
Okay.
Right? So there's a difference in knowing that my father was abusive. And then in contrast to that, you have to know how his abuse affected you. Besides anger, there was a pain. Yesterday I said, anger is a secondary emotion. Anger is not the primary emotion.
Okay.
Anger is an expression of something in you.
So what?
Dr. Gibomante explains trauma as I love the definition. He says trauma is what happens in you because of what happened to you. So anger is what is happening to you because of what is happening in you. So if we don't, and then we like addressing the happening.
No.
It's like
Jesus.
it's like GBV. We address the
action what's happening now.
effect and not the root cause.
What happened?
You are going to be cancelled very fast. But if we are going to medicate society, we need to deal with, because two things can be correct at once. We need to deal with the effect, and then we need to deal with the instigation sometimes. There's a video that I posted where a couple is having an altercation. There's a guy in the car who's recording, and this guy keeps on saying, I tried to break up this fight. This woman said she can handle this man. So this you can clearly see the guy trying to walk away. And I have seen this countless times in relationships. Or I and then they start telling you about how much of a coward you are. Bet if you're gonna hit, and they start swearing you, start belittling you, and sooner or later you're going.
Someone's gonna break.
Something's gonna break, and it's yes, people should walk away, but I can tell you that there have been countless occasions where men wanted to walk away. So in the question of this clip, this guy walks away when you're not opastin or posa demand. Now this was the breaking point for this guy. And then now, because all this was happening and this guy was not doing anything, and then he went, murdered this person, everyone came in to beat up this guy. So yes, we might then argue his reaction was not correct. But what do you do when you are provoked to that particular degree?
I was saying to a gentleman, Maloba, he was going through some tough times, so we had found out the wife was cheating.
Yeah.
And then we found out the wife was cheating, and he's like, yo, Fumani, it's like, I wake up at night, and I can't sleep. I sleep for 1 hour, I'm up.
I won't sleep, my brother. My brother, this happened to me. I think I was 22 years old.
Is it?
I found myself walking in there. Have you ever cried when it was raining? That you can literally detect the difference between
rain and tears.
Raindrops and teardrops. No, there's no way he was gonna sleep.
Yeah, so you know what I said to him? I said to him, my brother, I think every human being has a point of breaking.
Yeah.
And at that point, no human being can tell where it is.
No.
Based on that, kupa uto chali.
Yeah.
Because right now you are hurting.
Yeah.
We don't want to find out a situation where you are the one in trouble because of your hurt.
Because no one is going to care what you did.
No one will care about that. And we don't know what you will do. Yes.
So I think this is a great encouragement to men to say, it honestly, it matters in that moment when whatever is happening, but no one is gonna care about the progression of the outburst and your reaction to it.
And the kokasi, like you say, because I wanted to bring it to social, or any casa, for example. I know this for a fact. I remember stopping this guy murdering a guy, Kopitor.
Yeah.
So I used to stop people when they fight. I was that guy. I can say it now, I don't get involved anymore. I rather shoot, kill at a distance, kill somebody low. This is what I even advised my son. I'll tell you why. And I'll come back to why Kukas.
Yeah.
I was the guy, Leroy. I would stop, can you in between? I was the guy when I see guys trying to mug someone, because I stayed in Pretoria for 10 years. I would see these guys about to mug someone. I would go and try. I was that guy. Here's what happened the last 3 instances. First one, outside my flat, go Arcadia. This guy is moving this girl to come nice. I go in, I stop them. This guy says to the girl, oh, guess what she does? She grabs him back, no, I saw her, and he continues beating her. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, who's this? Second instance, Captain Park, Kimak, still in the same flat in the Pretoria. I can't remember flat. Second instance, inside the flat, I'm staying with 18, go 16, Bamurana, like I can hear Tupa. He's hitting this girl very, very bad. What do I do? Call the police, go inside quickly, they come. Very quickly, kind of a couple of them. I go downstairs, I open the flat, I get the kind of access into the building. I go open, and I made sure the guy knows it's me who called the police. Yeah. Came in, they told the guy, hey, when she came out, she was badly beaten. She was beaten. She was beaten, Leroy. A week later, she was back in the flat. The last straw was a couple of years after that. Same thing happened. This guy hits this girl. And the guy says to me, yeah, I could not clever. I'm like, huh? And then, no, I couldn't. And they went back together and he moved the feather. I stopped. Now, Kokasi, where you grew up.
Yeah.
Are you telling me there are not instances like that where people find themselves in a situation where it's either you help or you help yourself?
Yeah, I think but that's why I said, I quoted that Margaret Catmull thing, that heredity, nothing, environment, everything. So it depends on the crowd that you keep. Bible has always been a foundational book that it gives you the future in the present. And then if you decide, no, bad company corrupts good character. And it's going to be that. I mean, if we chill, and the resounding thing that you hear is how, no, Musadi mo handle. And then Musadi only on the other side, but if we are at and then now it automatically shapes the thinking into saying, so you must push them.
So how is that type of, because why I'm saying all this, I'm saying when it comes to Kukasi, how is that dialogue or talk Kukasi growing up? Because I didn't grow up in a township, I grew up in a village.
Yeah.
But it was quite similar.
It was, so the dialogue is the same one, sex, that even guys who were not having sex acted like they were having sex because you were accepted. This is where the ego, it's not even that you know that you have not even seen how a boob is shaped. And then Mara, you are sitting there. So when one it always so now we grow up with this false sense of ego and pride, right? And then sooner or later it's going to need a point of reference, and that's why growing up you realize that most of the relationships that we entered into had nothing to do with love. But they were influenced by the words of love. But the idea is we wanted to fulfill
Some imaginary something.
All these testimonies that we were making that did not have a point of reference. Now we are attaching the testimony to now we find a point of reference. Now the testimony can leave now. And
Peer pressure.
Yeah, it was peer pressure. And even now, peer pressure. I wonder if you were pressured by pressure as a teen. I can guarantee you now that 90% of the time, as an adult man, you are experiencing the same effect.
Ish.
That peer pressure, just because it's defined peer pressure, it's peer. So meaning,
That doesn't matter the age.
yeah, it doesn't. So it means age bracket that then give peers. For as long as you find yourself in the group of your peers, there's pressure. So I'll throw in something.
How do you, okay, throw.
So I'll throw this like peer pressure that the provider in you.
Kumakalo who's just the text.
I must tell that comrade to come here. The provider in you enjoys finding expression in a place that is celebrated. It doesn't matter the location, whether be it a correct place or not. So the guy that is buying bottles for women he just met, and the women are able to celebrate him for that act, they are speaking to the provider in him in a false environment that he's not supposed to exercise that provision. That guy is providing, but providing
is
in
providing
a misplaced place. But the difference is, hey, I regulate something gone true. He does not get the same appraisal and celebration that he gets when he buys that bottle of champagne. So they have, so women, Banyana Strata understand this thing very well. That if they boost, if they hold your ego and then bite you, or it's this things like this. Let's go with. And then I'll phone our baby give up with. And how to now create a flight and I can need provision who provide. Yes, I understand. It's happening it's exercised in a manner that is not supposed to be exercised in. But it shows you that there's a provider in this person that seeks recognition, that seeks acknowledgement, but he's getting it in a place that is not supposed to get it in.
So anyway, your dad's provision, in the sense,
yeah,
you feel the guy did his thing.
Yeah,
in retrospect.
In retrospect, it's growing up. That's why I told you I wrote a post. I think some of us owe our fathers an apology. Because now that you are in your own house, now you realize, bro, you are the first. My woman knows. I tell it, I'm the first guy to know. Yeah, I'm the first guy to know. 2 days. I'm the first guy to know the pampas the affair. Because the role of being a man is to solve problems before they arise. So when you ukonobona fridge or our shop, mara utikirona stress.
I'm taking photo of Arabo in the Dibra.
This comrade must come and account in the Council of Men.
So
I think the nice thing about podcasts is that you can do whatever you want.
Whatever time you want.
And not have a station a manager. Yeah, what are you guys doing?
You won't believe who I'm with right now.
Commander in Chief, you know your sins. Come and surrender. I'm willing to give you a platform of repentance.
So, before we got distracted, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
So
I think we must retitle this thing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll find it.
No, but we're gonna come to that because right now I'm still on the on who is Leroy. Yes, we don't wanna.
Oh, we tell you that David Marshall 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. This is 1 hour, 1 hour 30. We're not on Brad Dave's level yet.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so my thing is, so we're still talking about the provision, or in retrospect,
yeah,
you need to sit down and think about it. Or let's think about, or nah.
Yeah, so now I think my dad had many opportunities to leave, but because my dad loved us, even though we did not interpret it as love, and I realized that the fact that you can stay speaks volumes about the love you have for your people.
No?
Yeah,
and the character,
it's
maybe.
It's easy to walk away. It requires more balls to stay. to stay beside and bypass how you are feeling, bypass the indifferent behavior of your woman and your children sometimes, because you see this ungrateful attitude.
Every day.
Bypass the fact that you're doing your best, but you know that you still need to push harder. Bypass the fact that even when you do your best, sometimes you think it's not recognized.
And go starting, but they okay,
I
who
don't
can
know,
make it?
oh, truth, in a jiffy. So that's why it.
And it's a wrong, false sense of whatever that you're gonna end up falling for, and you stay there.
Yeah, and then you stay there. Yeah, that's where that's illusionary 80-20 rule. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
You are, but you must understand that most men grew up without having the correct sense of affirmation, especially being affirmed by something that looks like them, and the father is what you look like. But to throw men under the bus, it doesn't matter how much you hate your father. You are your father, and your father is you. And then the sooner you reconcile your father in you, you are going to become like your father. So there are traits in your father that you read the Bible, the relationship, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You look at how they behaved. Even in a time where Abraham is no longer alive, Isaac does the same mistake his father did.
Epigenetics, man.
Yeah, and then how do I Jacob does the same thing his father did. So how do I check out from a lineage point of view and a bloodline point of view? You are going to repeat the mistakes that your forefathers did
Unless you
unless
know
you
them and
reconcile them. So
Yeah.
so problem, Corey, we hate them, but we become them. And then we start hating ourselves because we see them in us, the more we hate them. Now you start hating yourself more because you are hating what you see.
And the minute you hate yourself, Charlie.
Then you mishandle everything that is around you. Now my dad comes from a family of 7 boys, 3 ladies. All my uncles were womenizers of note.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. So now, growing up, I thought it was a skill, and it's a hereditary, it was a heritage, this thing. That even at your, I just showed you that picture. But when I look at myself, like 10 years ago, I struggled to find whatever it is that was attractive about me. But check, oh, and now you ask, then you start seeing what it's a bloodline, it's a DNA thing. Yeah, because the purpose of this thing is to inconvenience you and destroy you so that you don't get to fulfill your purpose.
I don't work at the cases.
Yeah.
Or know what are the cases you can break them. It's such things.
Yeah. So you can't. I don't like this breaking, because you can't cast DNA out of you.
Okay.
You can't. There are certain terms that
It's reconcile and do bad or do different.
Reconcile. You can't. It's knowing that I come from a lineage.
Yes, sir.
And sex. That's where I come from. So it's the sex thing. I come from a lineage that is sex addiction. Sex addiction. Right? You must recognize and identify that thing. It's not that they are womanizers. It's that they love sex and they can only sleep with women. But they enjoy sex sleeping with different women. That's where you come from. So you can't say you are break. How are you going to break DNA? It's in you. It's coded. It's you. So you must reconcile it, and then have a more. And then when you reconcile it, it means you are recognized. You are them, and they are you. And then you start seeing behaviors in you, and then that's where the reconciliation process starts.
And a choice comes in.
And then have a it's not a weakness. This is a hereditary stronghold. Kenal problem. Right? Even though growing up, no proud, like I tell you, that guy learns today. Tomorrow, says he would tell my dad, or I korobala somewhere. That man landed today, from Dobsonville, landed today on a Friday. Tomorrow on a stage, somewhere. And it's so I want to kill demon la hataudi. So the purpose, the reason for this is so that it inconveniences you, so that you don't fulfill your destiny. Nari that's why I wrote Confessions of a Broken Man, because now it allows you to have temporary victories. So now women become your victory points. So you have sex for scorekeeping.
Not walking your path for a bigger purpose or
So the
whatever.
so sometimes you know that you are called to do some great things in this life, right? And then, but there's an addiction that holds you.
Eta, you can.
Yeah. Oh, the rivers of Israel have joined us. Right? So with me, so I started preaching at a very young age. So already, the destiny is defined. But because the gift can be taken away from you, we can only corrupt character. So that you feel disqualified in yourself to carry out this particular thing. And it happens with most men. I mean, song of Eric, by Proverbs, Eric, women, don't give your energy to women. They have destroyed many kings.
Come on.
Samson. No. But Samson was in love. And Delilah loved Samson. It's just that Delilah was greedy. You know, like example, you can take Medi. If we need to toss cut off, Misa Dubai. Or shopping, go Dubai. Afitlafa manager ya go shopo marao so that I can read about mahala or I can save a chele.
Damn. Anyway, so in all this life lived, kokasi, growing up kokasi, going to school, go to Ropong, Ulichi's boy.
Yeah, well, the functions were scream cheese boy, but the capacity was my dad worked hard to make sure that we get a good education. My mother prayed hard so that we remained within the parameters.
Yes, I hear we say Hori. There was some sort of competition. Of course, Leah, it was not something that I doubt it was an intentional thing. How is she though?
So I'll tell you one thing. My parents loved each other. Yeah, to a point that my father loved my mother. That my father would choose my mother over us any day. And if my mother passed away before my father did, my father would have not lived long to see the day of the funeral. That's how much my father loved my mother. I can't question my father's husbanding skills. My father was a dope husband. The concept of marriage, I mirrored it from them. Before he passed, they were married for 32 years.
Damn.
Yeah. So if my father was still alive today, my parents would still be married. So I think my mother is gonna find it very difficult to find someone because they would have to outlove the love of my father.
And to
They have to. It's like saying to me, there's something better than Jesus Christ.
Books, Leroy.
Yeah.
How many books do you have?
I have 4, but my attention now is on confessions and intimacy. I have Decoding the Love Code and I'm Not My Wounds. But then I realized that it's futile to get men to the place of enjoying love when they have not reconciled themselves to themselves.
Okay, break that.
Yeah. So the idea of confessions is that before you make confessions to anyone, you must make them to yourself. You must come to a point I don't think I'm kind. I'm not a kind person. I have anger issues. I have pain. I'm suffering from. So if you can't reconcile yourself to yourself, we can't do anything with you, because if you are not willing to see yourself for who you really are, you're going to mishandle everything around, because everything around you becomes an anesthetic. You are using friendships to numb the pain.
Whatever that
you are
is,
using
instead of
sex
going
to
in.
numb the pain. You are using sex to numb the pain. You are using your access to money to numb the pain. The reality is, if we take away the house, the car, the woman you married, or the women you are bonging, and balance in your account, who are you without the excess of the things that you have outside of you? Can you really still be proud to be a man without the things that you have? Because if you can't, then we have a problem.
Any more books coming?
No, not. I'm gonna write a Christian book titled "I Had to Repent," because there are a lot of Christian folks that need repentance, that think they are closer than God, especially these ones
Who think that Deputy Jesus is?
Yeah, especially these ones Barbering. Have you seen that? I think even growing up in church, people who were not there's a verse in Hebrews I like that lay aside the weight and the sin that so easily entangles you, right? That there are people who are not sexually inclined. Like they wouldn't. It's not their thing. That's not the sin that easily gets them. But they have something that easily gets them.
But
So
every human being, we have our own vices.
yeah. But the Christian community has made the sin of sex, a major sin. So that's why people who are not having sex think they are
Holier than thou.
That's why this celibacy. I'm on my celibacy, Jade. The reality of the matter is that you have already been defiled. So.
Because you're not a virgin.
You're not a virgin. So I respect the fact that you don't want to contaminate your spirit with sleeping with different people. But it does not mean that you are in a better hierarchical level spiritually than others. So the reality is that God sees sin as sin. If you steal 1 rand and I steal 10 million, we are thieves.
That's it.
Ahuna small thief and big thief before God, or big liar or small liar. So the book is literally to help people to come to a realization that we all need grace. And the same grace that was awarded you, now I don't know where this shirt is. I think
It's blind.
yeah, I think it's when you pay lobola without owing people, you enjoy.
So I think let's jump into today's talk.
Yeah. Hey, I know you dragged. Chief.
No, it's okay. Blended family, child.
Yeah. I wish we bought stuff and then barking an experiment to show people. Like you have a blender, when you blend, but people are familiar.
No, I think people are familiar with blending. Yeah.
No. I wanted them to capture the moment where barking Pierre, apple, banana, orange, they become one. But there's a process in that, my man. And then we don't consider the crushing element. Before we listen, it's not a nice process. Even the noise itself is too loud. It's unbearable. Even though I appreciate a smooth at the end, but the reality of the matter,
these things.
To one thing.
To be a smooth and become one. Let's just pretend. Yeah.
but there's a crushing that needs to happen. Where you can identify or take it up or take it banana.
Yeah.
We glamorize these concepts, and then because we love end results, Mara, we don't appreciate the journey of getting to the process. Yeah, no, I didn't school. It is the goal of the South, let's find it will benefit. No. He's throwing in
English
words, process. No.
So brother, we are in a space as a couple. Let me speak, not global.
Yeah.
I think it's more high because global is the same phenomenon. Let me bring it back home, where it's almost a norm.
Yeah,
where a blended situation
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
The stepmother, stepfather, and.
Also, I know you don't like the idea, but you are.
Yeah, well.
Stepfather. You're not the father, stepfather.
For me, the blending.
But I want us to dismantle these concepts. I think any time we mess up, we find terms that are suitable to use so that we feel comfortable in the mess.
Okay.
Now imagine a world where sex before marriage was not a reality, right? Where people developed before they got married and people were whole before they got married, and then they had children within that city, where this one is not insecure, where this one does not come with baggage. Now imagine that world. You wouldn't have step-parents.
Of course.
Unless in a situation where somebody lost a husband or a wife. But imagine, hypothetically, just imagine that world. So the first thing we need to recognize and idea is that we fucked up. Number one. Because
As a society.
if I have 4 baby mamas and I'm not with either one of them, I'm the one who I created an abnormal situation, right? We are not talking about people who lost their partners. We're talking about people who could not control their sexual urges. To a degree that you knew that the person you are making a child with is a psycho. Number 2, you knew that they were not in a right stand financially to care for themselves, and what more about caring for someone. So in allowing that, we created a very abnormal situation.
My take on that, and that's why I always don't like it when people, especially women, would come out and say, "Yeah, this guy came, he's." The question I always ask, wait, so you open your legs for him and let him plant a seed inside you, yet you're going to come and say this now? Like, how do you reconcile those two things?
Because people date at the level of their insecurities.
So we are both the problem, actually.
Yes. No, there's no problem. You made a choice. You must live with the choice that you made. And another thing that I hate, in contrast to that, is the fact that a woman can decide to tell you, Rihanna, she's not ready to have a child.
And abort.
And she does not have the financial means to look after a child. Or they are not emotionally developed to care for a child, and they are going to have an abortion.
And
but
if you say no,
man says the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. But can we not the iPhone? It's a so we need to get to a place where 2 parties have to be in agreement in whether or not we are creating life or we are just having sex. But
personally, I've always had a problem with that.
which one?
With that double standard.
Yeah, it's a double standard.
It gives me a problem. Wait, so if, because, and from someone who's such an involved father, this will come out the opposite of me.
Yeah.
My thing is this: if you're gonna say, you wanna do it, if he says to you, listen, I'm not ready, and you insist, you have no right to tell this man to come to be involved in this child's life.
It's the equivalent of you getting sick by the result of having sex with someone that did not tell you that they are sick. You can't put the blame on that person. You had the responsibility to
On
make sure
you.
that you protect yourself. So problem, Mogori, we are irresponsible, and instead of acknowledging and taking accountability, that we throw it to the next person. So what did
It's
you do?
easy. It's
Yes,
easy.
they can tell you that abasha. But the reality of the matter, you insisted in not using protection.
But besides that, nah, I get the argument they will say, but no, we didn't see. Nah, guys, I don't buy the fact that you can't see. Red flags would be actually.
Yeah, people love seeing how red the red can be. They love different types. The
shade.
They just like different shades of red.
Nah.
Yeah, they want to see. Bible, it's red. How red can this
red
red
go?
flag go?
I don't know. I didn't say guys. Come on.
Yeah, it's there. The painting is always on the wall. But besides, people always tell you who they are at the inception of the relationship. People will tell you, "Nah, get ready for a relationship," and then over hotspot, got readiness. And then I always say, things don't end wrong. They normally start wrong. We know, Chief. You knew this thing is not going to go anywhere.
Nobody know.
Guys,
you know. Let's be honest.
you don't need to be a prophet. That was only twice.
No, guys, we know this.
You know, didn't and you can tell this is not the type that you would type, but you tapped anyway.
I got married twice, né? In both scenarios.
Yeah.
From the first day I met these people, I knew I'm gonna marry this one.
Yes. I didn't know until 5 years. They're still trying to figure. I think by the first 2-3 encounters, you already know that you are either gonna make them a wife or you're gonna make them your sick bed.
You know.
Yeah.
And this goes both ways, by the way.
And Lemona they can see. It's just that now they like dating against hope.
What does it mean?
It means that they have a strong hope of what you and them can become in the future. And you don't share the same hope. So they are dating hope. So they are imposing their hope on you. You are going to become this man. I see you becoming this
change
man.
if it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Some guy, one pastor did an illustration I loved, and he said, if you meet a woman and and then you say, "Esh man, I would love it if you started wearing weaves." Then you buy weaves, she wears weaves. and then you come back again and say, "Ngarata hore, when we go out next week, utate makeup." Now she's starting to get accustomed to the makeup. And then you start making all these changes. Now the question now is, who are you in love with them
Or the
based on
person
the
you are-
or are you in love with the version that you came into the relationship with?
Yes,
So the reality why relationships are a bit messed up and end up in this situation or created blended families is that we got into relationships not appreciating the person we have, but we wanted them to become this idea that we had already built up in our heads.
So
Because now why would you have a problem with 3 months down the line?
into the whole thing. Like then it becomes a
Le
real.
nako o mo etela ko 1 bedroom ya go big room o bone gore motho a can't afford life mara you made a child with them modima singli le ngwana modima
Ke eng blended family like bra?
yeah
Ke eng blended family?
is us trying to console ourselves for the messes that we created and we give it fancy names. That's what it is.
So
And no, I have a blended family. And
I have
then-
one as well.
right? And then we're gonna create. And so because I remember I grew up. I used sex to numb myself. You understand? So, and then I was introduced to pornography at a very young age, which literally distorted my view of sex.
okay.
So, sex for me was a power play, was a conquering conquest. It was
Power play. What do you mean power play?
power. It's an issue of power that can get you.
Oh,
Yeah, and I can make you calm. And I can make you get to places that your current person can't. And I'm going to...
man, Leroy, how do you even come up with such things in your head to say this is my?
Because that's why I wrote this book. Because I'm messed up, bro. I think I'm one of the few men who can make peace with the... I'm a mess. I'm a
Because
beautiful
I'm like
mess.
to come to a point of, you know what, categorically, I'm gonna let
Yeah,
you make.
I used to collect names. I had an alphabetic order. Like if I had an Amanda, write Amanda. If I made a Abongile, and then this. So in the alphabet, then I'll check. Yeah, I have not had a J. I need a Jasmine. So my body count will shock you, my nigga. It's crazy. So there's
Yes, can I make you
No,
laugh?
no,
Can- I'm not. I won't ask you.
Yeah,
I won't
no,
ask you.
it's,
Don't worry. I don't play that game.
Oh.
But the point I wanted to say, Kohori, someone a couple years ago asked me, and I told him, "Kemajita."
yeah.
Hey, they looked at me funny. Are you sure it's such a low number?
You have a low. Yeah, no.
According to them, it's a low number. I'm like, what do you mean? When they gave me their number,
Yeah.
okay, I was shocked.
No, mine will shock you. Like it got to, I mean, it was bad. It got to a point where, so with me, I woke up next to somebody. They left in the morning. Either they were going to work, or I created an excuse that busy so you can't be here by 7 o'clock. You must leave. By 12, there was somebody arriving who's
Same day.
gonna leave in the afternoon, and then there has to be someone that's because I can be with myself. Right? So these are things. So in that period of my life, I considered those. I was proud of myself. And imagine that when you see different people. Those are the things that I prided myself.
And were kids made from that?
Yeah.
In some
So you have temporary relationships that produce permanent situations.
Yes.
And now remember, when you're doing this, you were not doing it. And that's why my first relationship, it was a bit messed up. That's why I'm saying it took a while to get to a place of being responsible. And that's why now you need to go back and reconcile with the people that... Remember, when the emotions are high and the home and,
Of course.
and erections. And have you seen how smart every man is when they're negotiating us? We're very philosophical. Ogaral doctrine. Like if we negotiated business deals the way we do, bro, the confidence, the how you literally lay like now for them to literally drop their guards down. It's just that these days women are just willy-nilly, freely. Well, not all of them, but
Of course.
unfortunately, sex is not it's not a difficult thing to attain anymore. Now it's all about who you are, what you can.
Oh,
What
no,
you
literally.
Can put
I
on.
mean,
Yeah,
like,
now women have devalued themselves, unfortunately. And it's
I know
not-
if
it's
you
not-
say that, it's like,
I
no,
say,
it's my body, my choice. Like there's nothing like that.
This can cancer.
So, did you come to a point where you reconcile with the mothers and Bana? Where are the
Yeah,
kids in
no. Now, but it took a while. It has not been, and I think another thing that hurts and them, and I think the first chapter of the book is, there's an apology. I write a letter to my ex-girlfriend. So letters to me where this is a heartfelt apology that. I mean, I dated you for survival. I was running away from me and I couldn't. When I wanted potential, you saw a future potential. Now I just saw refuge for my emotions for the night or for the week or for that period, you know. And I think that the straw that literally pissed most of them off was finding out that you got married. So everything they wanted you to be to them, you became it to someone else. You understand? And then it's a process where you need to then admit that you have been an ass.
Basically.
You've been an ass in how you handled. And I don't, my brother, if there's one thing about me, I learned that if anyone is going to have an indifferent opinion about me, it has to be me. So when I wrote this book, when you come into my life, you know exactly what you are getting. And I make it a deliberate attempt to make my weaknesses as public as they can be, so that you don't get our sutu or what I pulled up with or how I smelled when I met you or when I saw you. My history is this. I have weaknesses in this. We can make this work if I will build boundaries around me. But I also need you to reassure me, because if I feel like I'm not assured, then I'm going to self-destruct the way I know how to. The best way, remember how you've been dealing with you for all these years, you're going to become an exact replica of that inside your marriage. So if the environment is not safe and conducive for you to be able to stop yourself from doing what you know you're going to do. Like now, if I go away, I make it a point. I can video call. So I know me. It doesn't take much for me to end up in a bed that's not mine. I know me.
So how do you protect your family from that?
It's the fact that I know me. The only protection you can give is honest, my guy. Yeah. So that now, I remember when my woman posted our Lobola picture, people started in books. They went to an extent of creating fake accounts.
Oh, so they wanted to.
The shock was.
Yeah.
The messed up part is I had already laid my life down for it. So my woman is not shocked about anything. You understand?
Yeah.
You know, Keke is a good friend, a brother of mine. And me and him, we did something similar, that we met, the people we met, and then we laid our lives on the
Keke the singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That, I mean, dude,
Where is he?
He was there. He's very rebranded, very proper, lined. If there's one person I draw inspiration from, is that one. That you can, not all of us have a chance to fall. But they fumble in private. And people like Gege have fumbled in a public space. The church is too quick to cancel you. Actually, cancel culture started in the church.
It was always been there in the church.
Yeah.
So, in this place, like see the example that we want to give you, your blender and everything. In most cases, like I was watching this TikTok thing, this lawyer of Eastern Cape Mawan.
Yeah.
This father passed away, and then the mother passed away first. He remarried. She came with the kids. He came with the kids, and then Jiki Dibra. She wants to kick the kids out. Clearly, there was no blending that happened.
No. One, I think we need to admit that not all blending processes blend properly. Even the milkshake illustration, you'll still find an apple insisting on being an apple. And that's just the reality of the matter. If we then agree that this is an abnormal setting, we need to agree first. It's an abnormal setting that we are trying to force normalcy in. Because the reality is, most of the time, you and your woman love each other, and then you expect the love you have for one another to literally be imposed on the children. It's not going to be that easy. So you're going to have different situations.
No, okay, Emanya. Now for me is this. If ukena, knowing what you're not going to, I'm not saying it will happen automatically. If you come in knowing that you're not going to work towards creating some sort of normalcy, because you're not going to have a proper relationship with the person you
are missing. The point is not that you don't want the child.
The
point is that the two of you love each other and you are willing. And you, because by the virtue of the fact that you got together and then you know they have a child, they know you have a child, you have accepted the situation.
Yes.
And the willingness to make the relationship work with their children is in you, it's in them. But the issue, most of the time, that makes this blending process difficult is the fact that the children don't have the same sexual emotions you have for their mother as much as the mother has for you.
Say that again.
The children don't have the same sexual emotions. The children don't have the same emotional clinging and the emotional connection you share with their mother. So the first mistake we make is to think that the children will feel about you the way you feel about their mother, or the way their mother feels about you. My brother, I tell you this, and whoever is listening, the children of your girlfriend or the children of your boyfriend have a right not to like you.
Yes, sir.
They are not compelled to like you.
But we're in a family. How do you fix it?
Yeah, it's your family that you decided to design. They have a right to decide to be a part of it. So the reason the issue here is that we want to take away the choice for them to decide if I want to choose this. That's because you chose it. Doesn't mean I have to choose it.
No, man. If now and then we've got certain rules.
But they know who their father is.
Yeah, but right now.
Now you are dealing in the spectrum of delusion. Yeah, and it's a very dangerous spectrum, that one. That if we are not going to be willing to accept that, the children will not accept us the way they accept their biological parents. And
then the next question becomes this: how do we solve that?
Sometimes
is it solvable?
So the same willingness you have must be met by a willingness on the others. You can't make children like you. Children respond to function more than they do to title.
Okay. Let's bring that up.
So title or stepfather doesn't automate the fatherly function. So you need to, my brother, sometimes you need to take out this child out and across the table, so you must activate the function of fatherhood without getting back home. I tried. So, and then again, you must still have the capacity to be rejected. And then, even if they can accept you and love you, you must also still have the capacity for future rejection. Or the day I graduate, one need to because you must be okay with the why wanna guys, if you are if
I'm reacting based on what I've heard on social media. I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, no one knows. So it's like loving. When you're going to love somebody and you do things for them, you must be at peace with the fact that you're doing everything from a place of love, not from a place of keeping a scorecard, so that one day you after everything that I've done for you.
And that scorecard always keeps coming out.
You will never. You can blend well, but they will never be your blood.
Fact.
And the sooner we make peace with this, the better. So either appoint yourself as a custodian that's going to love this child and give them something they are missing currently, and be okay with the fact that they must not graduate and one day they will say, now I want to go stay with my father. And then have it in you as a man to be okay with the fact that useless as they might be now, life changes, circumstances change.
Always they do.
As long as parental rights are still enforced by the law, There is nothing, you can't outlove parental rights, Chief.
You can't even out-negotiate
You
them.
can't out-negotiate them. So blended families have an upside and a downside to them, but you have to be matured enough to be able to handle a balance between this and that. If you don't, it's going to cause issues between you and your partner because you're going to take the indifference. And another thing that you must understand is that you can't discipline a child that is not yours.
True.
Effectively, like you would do your children.
Yes, and also...
So there's always be that imbalance. So now we need to then decide, hey, how? And unfortunately, but it takes a process to get to that point. Hey, how? I
think...
when they are misbehaving, how
so
do we handle it?
an example I'll give you. So Mabana was talking to a close friend of mine. So they were in a car. It's him, it's his lady. So this lady has a child, right? So he's driving. So they are busy. So they are busy driving. So they are busy driving.
Yeah.
And Barkman, this child. So they're driving Koloi Yamsadio.
Yeah.
Who's driving? The guy is driving.
Yes.
So, one tells the guy, hey, but she's really rude
And how she says it.
in all this. You follow. And this is how he's explaining. So the thing is, the question I asked was, well, did O say anything now to
The
stop
mother.
to stop this?
So here's a challenge with children that already have a philosophical view of life of their own. We're talking about teenagers, pre-teen and teenagers. They have already formulated a psychological interpret of how the world should function.
Yes.
So I'll give you two scenarios whereby the mother can love the child and be in your corner and try to win them back on your side. But they would hate the setup because
Who would hate it?
the child
Okay.
would hate the setup, not because they are not loved, not because they are not given everything they want or the love that they deserve in that particular setup, but they will hate the setup in the sense that they wish it was their real father within the setup.
Of course.
So sometimes you will catch strays, not because you are being a bad stepfather. You're gonna catch strays because they would have loved it to be their own real father that's in this situation. They hate the fact that because they see how you handle the household, how you handle the kids and everyone else. But they appreciate it, but they hate the fact that it's not the men that they want to be in the house.
And the reality of the matter is they will always want that.
Yeah. So guys, I think with blended families, it's an issue out. You can't impose. It's the way you courted their mother, you need to court the kids.
I think that's one of my beliefs as well. There must be some sort of intentional courtship.
Yeah, but you can be intentional all you want. If the other party is not intentional about your intentions,
There's nothing you can do about
there's
it.
nothing you can do about it.
But at least there has to be an effort, right?
Yeah, the effort needs to be there. We are not arguing effort. We are arguing the fact that sometimes even with the best effort, you can still be rejected.
But still
and how
fail.
many times? Yes. And you must be at peace with. Then this is when now you must operate out of love and not offense. That even though you know that they reject you,
So what does it take, Vele, to love a child not biologically yours?
it takes love.
Ne?
No, it takes bypassing your feelings. Because real life, guys, real love, it's not love that functions when things are well. It's not love. It's just a human. It's easy to love people who are good to you. That's why the title they changed. You talk of 400,000. That's all brow. Man. Marawo kolota el braya the title change. That's all brow get name.
Do you know those relationships where if things are not going well, baby, honey disappear
But my advice to men is simply this: that because our number one mistake is
to men?
to men is blended families. Actually, more often than not, they favor the woman who comes with the child, because remember,
Say that again.
blended families favor the women who come with the child. and not the man who comes with the child. Until a situation, if your kids stay with you, and this is South Africa, chief, the baby mama is always going to with, unless you are like me who has proper connections, even though there's no man, then you are able to fight the legalities of it. Yeah, because now if you get in, let's say she moves in with you, marriage or not, it's automatic. It's expected that the kids should come because
Yes. But that should it be automatic?
It's automatic. If you, but that's what happens, right? Now, whenever we are there, and then I have learned over time that it's easy to do things for people who are within your proximity. Because if
you see it now,
if you regular pizza, Roger pizza. I'm not going to pizza they are social goof. The only time my son will eat pizza is when he's visiting, or when I decide to take him out. But there's a culture that is developed that my son is a visitor to the culture and not part of the culture. So now resentment automatically. So as a conscious decision, I have decided not to post a lot of pictures because I know I have a son who is on social media, and it's not that I don't want to offend him. I don't overdo the posting. So we have Beggar Friday, and he's not there. He comes to visit twice a month. So my issue now is we need to get to a place where if you are able to allow Hori Bana. Okay, before I get to that point, let's make this example. Do you know that you grew up knowing Saitia Familia Mama more than you did Saitia Familia Papa?
I was lucky though.
You were lucky.
We were lucky because
we have how many guys in here? Are you more acquainted to the side of your mother's Saitia Familia Mama Hauria Papa?
Me, my mom.
Yeah. Do you know why that happens? It happens because we keep silent to maintain illusionary peace. Yeah, because our fathers did not want to stir drama. Your mother came and say, and there's no it started like that.
Most of the time.
You understand? So you every holiday Ali Dobson Villa Palabor. And then 2 months turns into 6
2
months.
years.
6 months turns into 2 years, and before you know it, you don't even know your uncle. You only see your uncles that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't even know them. But you can put a name and a face to Batuwa. So that's a culture that we need to put a stop to, because let me tell you this: the only thing that can speak against you as a man is your DNA. As much as you carry the power to literally bless and curse your children, the offense your kids carry can literally make your ways not to be as bright as they should be.
Yeah. So, the emotional hurdles, biological parents and we must be realistic about it. How do we find a way of? I know you're saying realistically, we must let it be. Realistically, we must admit to ourselves, I can put as hard as I can.
If you can put yourself, if you have the powers not to be in that situation, my advice is don't put yourself in it.
Yes, because that's how I wanted to go there.
Yeah, don't.
I wanted to go there because, for me, it's dude, lady. If what it's ever, I give a good example, and if that guy can do that, this kid, my son, did something quite interesting. If he's able to do that, it means we have the ability to do that. He was supposed to go out on a date with this. So he had to have passed. Imayan, I'll call you half past. No, that's my cousin. So he was supposed to go on a date with this girl after matric. He said, "Yo, we spoke. We're gonna go on a date." Sharp. Zakanyana for a date. I'm like, no, I got you. Now
This is your son.
This is my son.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I'm not going out with that girl anymore. I won't go out on a date with her. Why? Papa, she's still in a very good relationship with her ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
And they're talking very often. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And if I tell her or I don't like that, we're going to end up having a clash. And that clash will end up being, I'll be told, Hore, I'm controlling. And because I'm controlling,
Are you the father? You must assist.
No, I'm not sure.
Present kids.
And I get it. This one saw him do this for her.
Yeah, the one.
Now it's a,
Munich, Advantage.
What they have to do on the right.
Okay, put on your okay, bye bye. Faman. Understand?
Yeah.
Because of that, I decided not to go out with her.
yeah.
Because role unnecessary and I'll end up becoming I'm the problem.
Yeah, but I would also have admonished him to relay, because rejection is to have information. You must inform the rejection. The reason why I can't do this is because I think in terms of geographical location, you are with me. But in terms of emotional location, I think you're still attached there. And until you decide where you want to be with all of you, you let me know. So
I don't know what he discussed with her.
Yeah.
This is what he told me why he decided not to continue. So my point with it, Ike, if at that age he's able to decipher that,
yeah, I don't want to put myself in situations.
it means little now we can.
No, we all can. So the problem here is that we keep convincing ourselves that we're good people. We're not good people.
Delusion.
No, it's delusion. You know. Guys, sometimes we take on more than we know that we have the capacity to handle. And then the process will always prove whether or not you are made for this or you're not.
And enough. The painful thing is this happened while the process is on,
Yeah.
where the blending has been put.
Yeah,
It's on.
Blending is and it requires having uncomfortable conversation, uncomfortable conversations, and you have not, and you and your partner have not mastered the art of having uncomfortable conversations.
So it starts there. There has to be a
guys,
willing.
we must make uncomfortability a place we visit and are okay in. To the fact that I think, imagine telling a woman, I think it's going to take time for me to love your children without them erupting. So how do we create, how do we have uncomfortable conversation in a situation whereby people don't want to take, like now, you are shocked by the fact that I'm telling you, this is all delusional unless you have a muscle to make it work.
Yeah.
And even though you are making it work, to make peace with the fact that you will never be fully, it's like marrying into a family that is well off and you are not. They will never see you as their own.
Actually, even when you make money at one point,
It doesn't matter.
They'll call you new money.
They will actually. That's why it's dangerous to be in a relationship with a woman that has more than you do, because it doesn't matter how hard you work. It will always be, hey, this mama. The advantage is what you So preserve and protect your manhood. So now it's easier to blend if the father is useless.
Okay.
It is.
Famara,
But if the father is present, my chief, you must deal with the constant. Damano present, lasa village.
I saw a video where Arindiman, something about Hori. Wherever Snafuko was testing good thing,
Yeah.
the possibility of happen, it's always there.
Ke re hopala no ba o botse ngwana no tlhakatlhakana ba botse gore a o tshwantsa ilo hata mabala a bo papai, to show you that
How do we get out of this?
You don't get out of it because it was not supposed to happen in the first. Stop trying to get out of it.
I can get out of it.
Yeah.
Not Runa who are on the inside. Runa for Runa, it's late.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how do Nsuku, I mean Fumani, Ntamaume Samaras. How do we, because it needs to get to a place where there has to be a better way of doing it. It's either we choose better or we do not find ourselves, because this whole idea, or anyone, which I find it to be ridiculous, or it's okay just to want to make children out of a system of marriage or system of agreement, where you just want to be like, no, okay, I'll tira jola, mwana. Guys, can you make child that easily?
Yeah.
My point is, how, at what point do we come to a point where we say like, guys, let's be realistic now.
Yeah.
Because we're not mature
I
enough.
can feel a little fence. It sounds like
we're not yet mature to go to that uncomfortable space of discussions. Give me a hypothetical solution.
A hypothetical one is that a man has to be. I wonder when you are solidified in your identity and your manhood, is understanding that I love this woman, right? And then whether the kids are going to appreciate or be indifferent to my actions, I'm gonna do what I need to do for her. So, but there are futuristic issues that if we can't have hard conversations, we can't deal with futuristic issues that might arise. For example, if you are not married to the person and you have been caring for them, that woman is going to be chucked out of the house. So issues of writing a will down. And how then do you make sure that your kids don't get disadvantaged in the process? Because this woman is going to find someone else, they marry, then the house that you worked hard for
not yours anymore.
is not yours, it's theirs. Then this guy, they divorce 3 months down the road. Now, your biological children suffer as a consequence. So this is where we need to have a legal conversation about putting assets into a trust and doing, because and we are blind about the guys. There's a customary way of punishment and there's the legal way of punishment, and both these things need to be recognized. You can't just be in love without acknowledging. You can't just be in love. It's foolish. And if you're, bro, I work hard. I flip and work hard for me to die now. And to die.
What? You work hard to not die?
No. I flip and work hard for me to die now and then have
your kids.
Everything my kids suffer as a result of just loving. It's foolish, utter foolishness. It's foolishness of the highest degree.
Yeah, true.
That all of my woman knows that even the kids that are not in the house, my book rights, bro, my book rights belong to all my children.
Yes.
You understand? Even my last born is named Leroy Lesekota. So, author book. He's entitled to do that. You understand? I go with my kids. Every relationships that I have, you create power dynamics so that when you are not here anymore, your work. Imagine dying and then there's another guy that comes in 6 months down the line because she's feeling lonely, and then they go sign, and then automatically now vice versa is true. After some, they are going to split your
movie deal.
Yeah, but yes, that my children are not good. So sometimes because we create this, we keep silent. But I mean, I take everything. Me, my kids are not gonna visit your family. They did it last month. This month they're gonna be with my mother because we will. I want to
true.
Because even smaller things compounded become a big thing. I don't play there, Chief.
Because I think if speaking of course, I'm glad where you took it in, because you took it into where we are already in, where we need to be very intentional. We need to be very legal protected for the kids, because the reality of the matter is this. As people, we don't know how we're going to react. We've got the ability to be bad. We
are bad. We don't have the ability to be bad. We are horrible people trying to be good.
Okay. We are better.
No, we are horrible individuals. We are self-centered. Self-preservation is at the highest order of who we are.
Based on that self-preservation, let's preserve in a legality sense
Yes.
of things.
Agree,
To make sure these
what if go muheta? Either way, or heta bana
Someone will get hurt.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get hurt.
I was having this discussion at Mawan just yesterday with my cousin. So we're talking about, because there's a land that I have called Limpopo, it's under my name, blah, blah, blah. So the idea was no, we must do something. I can go do that if I want. Ne? Yes, but there has to be agreement that is in order.
In black and white.
In black and white, because you and I can agree and do whatever we want to do. Now, when I think...
Because you want to benefit from the land, the agreement verbally is going to be all...
all that.
You really land delivery 1 million.
Now, my thinking is this. My thinking is this. How I think is this. I think 20 years, 50 and 100 years.
Thank you.
Because you and I in the next 40 years, chances I will be gone.
You know, Chief, I was telling someone, they forgot Mandela. Who do you think you are?
You see, if we'll be gone in the next 40 years and there's no proper agreement on this, whatever, it means we've caused a problem for our kids. And I can't do that based on that. So we need to be very aware of that.
If you want to see how dysfunctional we are as black people. And I think if you watch Shaka Ilembe, you realize that white people were never our problem.
We were our problem.
Yeah,
Any success stories that you know, started blended families?
Well, they are there. They are there. It's just that they are few. The thing is, people who do their best to make things work don't go on podcasts to talk about how they don't work. People who are successful in marriages, they are not on podcast because they know how much intentionality is required. Divorce. First podcast is there.
Speaker.
Yeah, speaker, author, facilitator, healing coach.
Healing coach.
Or not healed themselves. So
there's a press tour. There's a tour that they go on, working on these podcast shows to talk about how bad this person was. Like someone was even saying, have you ever seen all these coaches in these particular spaces? It's always the other person's fault.
Yes. Bro, I'm a unique case. There's nothing, I don't speak outside my experiences. Like, I'll tell you now that even my wife forgave a very unpleasant thing to forgive. I am... Bro, I believe in... That's why now, if you go sit with anyone that knows me, you will all have one thing to agree with. I'm just authentic. I don't give a shit whether you like me or you don't. And it has come to that thing that your views of me, if they don't pay bills, it doesn't... I don't have to fit and please you. That issue was and I saw how much it broke her heart. Like the fact that you could impregnate someone else, right? So this is how intentional I am about. So you tell I told my mother my dad is no longer alive, and then Mulatu, I see you, and this is where you tell yourself for it. But so this is what I've always believed in, that I would never. Leah and I, when we were still dating, I told her that once upon a time I helped pay for an abortion. This chick says, I can't go an abortion. And the end result, she almost died. And I made a vow to myself that I will never put anyone in that situation. If I get 10 women pregnant, I am going to accept the responsibility for all those 10 kids, with the exception that when the kids are born, we'll have a DNA test. So I think the only thing that helped me was that the condition was set there. Whatever, but DNA test. When I went, my lawyer has a copy of the booking and the payment. Yakolan said they never pitched. So even if they mushroom 15 years or 10 years down the line, we acknowledged I did this. We made provisions for a DNA to be done so that this child can be incorporated in the structure.
Well, now choosily.
They
chose not to.
They chose not to pitch. So that's why I'm saying I have learned that I know me. And I think for some women would say, no, I would never. But the thing is, my woman knew what she was getting at. And I don't use that as an excuse. I have worked hard to try to be a better man. But I know my demons. Yeah, no. I know my demons, chief. You can't cast DNA out of him. You can't. It's just it's you. You are that.
True.
So the issue here is Linyagoira. Sometimes it's just accepting, man. Things are not because Harry blended family is gonna work. Harry is gonna work on the terms that you've designed it for it to. And I say again, they have a right not to like you. You're not their father.
They can come and say, listen,
and you are not their mother.
it's graduation day, Kanyala, therefore,
yeah.
Papak.
Yeah. Kana go and no regular the roko lidi soup.
You know, these things on social media right now where fathers are angry at their kids.
No, you can't be angry. You can't. It's foolish. It's the same thing on your side. I get when if you graduate, you wanna be in the auditorium again.
You wanna be there?
Something. I don't feel any delusion, but like we have temporary insanity, and we don't wanna make peace with the fact that we are insane with how we accept things to be. Sometimes things are not going to work out the way. But if you love this person, sometimes just do things because you love them. Maramtwana baby daddy. If you can avoid that situation.
Now I'm saying let's find a way to work together.
Why
Dude, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Truth or lies.
Okay.
Truth and lies. Parenting edition. Right?
Good
Each
question.
person, it's a game that we do almost at the end of the episode. Each person share two real or parenting blending family scenarios. Fake or real. Okay. And tell me which one you would think makes a best outcome or scenario to be in.
Okay.
One. You love the mother. She's dope. She's everything that you need to do to build something that you think will be dope.
Yeah.
But the child, of course we touched on this, but the child insists on not being part of the equation.
Yeah.
What do we do in that
Nothing.
scenario?
They don't want to be a part of that equation.
They're
Just
young.
one now. Like, what's so difficult with making peace? The fact that as much as you chose to have a relationship with their mother, it was not their choice. It was your choice. It was the mother's choice. They have a choice to decide
So
whether or not.
what do you do in that case? Do you continue or have I?
So if the child doesn't want to be, and we are going to have an honest conversation, this is the part where we say, can we create a structure whereby the child can function properly with the support? And that's why in the olden days they actually advised that if you're gonna get married, ngwana sal. So ngwana msadi yao becomes the older child ya kulapi.
Please.
So we because I agree you are woke. In your wokeness you dismantled culture that helped us function.
Anyway, Blaliroy, so we're gonna have a constant bodily feature with Mr. Leroy here. We'll be discussing a lot of different topics. There's a book that is wrote. Where do you get these books?
My website www.leroytao.co.za, or they can just drop me a WhatsApp 068 464 3167. 068 464 3167.
Or by the website, you can get the books.
Yeah.
Point Corey. Here's a man who's not scared to speak of himself.
Oh no, I think that's the best way that everybody should, because you resist the edge of explaining yourself.
Yeah, and also you resist. You know what Eminem does? He disses himself.
Yes, you can't. You see, 8 Mile. That's where I got that thing. Because if you take power, because if you allow people to hold something against you, my brother, you are going to have serious issues. That's why now, even if I trend tomorrow, I think the question would be Marawena Nona.
I wanted to say something. This discussion with his cousin. So this is a story for another day.
Yeah.
Probably I read a book or a film about it. So with his cousins the other day, so they were on some, I'll go tell about you. I'm like, Samaya,
No, go.
go. Yeah, you think you think I'll do it? I'm like, via Charlie. You think you scare me? You don't scare me. Go. So you're right with that. If you
No, I read with that. I mean,
you-
I was on I've done Metro, I think, 4 times. And
you don't what?
Metro FM, they're talking about the biggest station with over 3.something million people listening. If I can be vulnerable there,
Over 3 million.
no, and talk about my sexual addictions and all of this and what. I know I had people. And the people I had, they were trying to run away from themselves. They loved the comfort they got. We were both messed up.
In uncomfortability.
In uncomfortability, and we didn't want to grow up. And the culture about, yeah, he wasted my time. The issue is you were not forced. The gun was not put to your head.
Yeah, if there's one thing I saw someone saying, if you're gonna put money in a building and worry accountability, it's all a problem. Guys, this is my father's chair. This is Leroy Tau. Thanks for coming in, and we talk about those fathers. You know yourselves, Ms. The responsible ones who wants to take the lead, who wants to feel and make sure you are intentionally involved in this space. Unless that, we'll see you next time. Please subscribe, like if you mess with this content. Sharp. Hola.